Toolbox, really. Like, we've got a few screwdrivers and Allen keys over the years, but that's it. Do you feel like at your age that you should have a toolbox?
I've got a toolbox.
Oh, you have? Oh, right, okay.
Let me just pan the camera around again. On the top. Oh, hang on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Top of the piano.
Right, okay.
I actually, you know what? I got that toolbox off Catherine's dad as a Christmas present after we first got married.
Oh, okay.
I remember I went round their house for Christmas, this big box, and I was thinking, here we go. Open it up, empty toolbox. Oh,
empty?
Right, yeah. Well, I think in another present they'd put like some stuff in. But I was like, at first I was like, oh, great. And then I was like, oh, yeah, actually, that is quite a useful present in the future.
Yeah, no, it is. And
it's that begrudgingly like, oh, I'm getting old now. Like, this is actually annoyingly a good present.
I would have felt exactly the same, but then in hindsight, you'd think, actually, to be fair, that is a decent present, because I haven't got a toolbox. I mean, to be fair, not that I'm the most DIY person you'll ever meet,
Yeah.
But it's still just be nice to have something instead of ringing up like her dad or my stepdad saying, "Have you got this? Can you do that for me? Should we hire a man just to put this chest of drawers together?"
Yeah. In fairness, it's been really useful over the last couple of years, especially in lockdown last year, just getting stuff done. I still have to call like parents either side so often, saying, "Have you got this? Have you got that?" Like the saw, for example. I haven't got a massive saw in the house.
Right?
Why would I have a saw?
No. Garden tools. We haven't got any garden tools, and every year we'll try and do stuff to the garden. And her mum, Lucy's mum, will come like, "You haven't got this, have you? Right, here you go. Have you got this? Right, you need to buy one." We only got a bucket last year. We've lived in this house 4 or 5 years.
You've not had a bucket of any kind?
Never needed a bucket. I can't even remember why we needed one. She sent me to the local shop. Obviously, I got a red one.
You wouldn't get any other colour?
Oh, it was the only one that was there.
Oh, look at us getting old. Needing things around the house. It's ridiculous. Oh, wow.
How else? Fun. So how are we doing the podcast now? Are we actually are we catching up?
I thought I was going to use that as the start of the podcast.
Yeah, fine. Okay, then, cool.
Okay, well, on that bombshell, welcome to this week's episode of A Daft Question. It's the podcast where we try and debate the questions you never thought you needed answering. And it's series 2 of the podcast. Can you believe we've been commissioned for a second series? I say commissioned, we've just decided to do another set of episodes. No one as yet has decided to give us any money for this show. We live for the day where someone goes, "Here's 10 quid, now shut up." This is it. This is the year. 2021's going to be our year. It's everyone's year. The year the pandemic goes, the year we get sponsorship. Yes. It's going to happen. And I want the most random, bizarre sponsor in the world. As in some kind of, DIY shop in Doncaster. We get paid in Allen keys like we just mentioned. Brilliant. I mean, to be fair, I've got quite the collection, thanks to IKEA, but I will take more. More questions as usual being debated on this series. Thank you very much to everybody who listened to the series last time round. People decided to listen, which is always a bonus. So thank you very much. We've got more Daft questions for the series as usual. I think we've got a strong list of questions. It's a good start. It's a very good start. I'm impressed with these. Cue us being not able to answer any of them for the entire episode. But yes, David, I've done research on one of them. Oh, research. Well done. It's a new year. It's a new me. So, yes, we had a little break. It was Christmas time. We needed to get our things together. As you've probably just heard, I moved house. So, ADQ HQ is in a new location. It's just like the Batcave. Yeah. So we've changed locations, although in fairness, we're just in the same shit with lockdown, aren't we? So
Yeah,
let's be honest with you. So yeah, back for a new series. Lots more questions. Again, you can get in touch with the show as usual. If you've not heard the episodes before, again, we just talk. We ask each other stupid questions and we try and answer them. It's as simple as that.
Happy New Year, by the way, David.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Is this a thing? I don't know how far you can go into life saying Happy New Year, because there's going to be quite a few people that I'm not going to see for a while. So come May or June, can I say, "Oh, Happy New Year, mate"? Is this?
I think this is annoyingly. This is like a mini question.
It is. It is.
It's not an official question. I would say you could probably get away with it for the first 2 weeks of January.
Right. Okay.
And then after that, like for example, when you go back to work in your emails, you can say for the first 2 or 3 days to people, "Oh, hope you had a good New Year." And then after that, I think you're pushing it a bit.
But then are you just being rude? Like, because it's been 3 weeks now. What, 25th? So yeah, 3 weeks, nearly 4 weeks. Is it just rude not to wish someone Happy New Year?
I think it's just a bit obvious. We get to the 25th of January, surely everyone's just right, yeah, it is the new year now. I think.
Okay, fine. I'll take it back then. I'll take it back.
There is a thing I want to try with my work email, which I know I'll never get away with, but I saw it on Twitter the other day and I thought we've got to do that. Somebody put in, "I hope you're well, it's the big show."
Brilliant. Do it.
I want to try it, and then someone to go, "What are you talking about?"
Screenshot it and then put it on Gram.
Yeah. I just need to. I need to find somebody in my contacts that likes wrestling, so they're going to appreciate it.
Just before I forget, I need to say that because we're now filming this during the day, between 20 to 11 and 20 to 12 and 20 to 1, DPD are going to rock at the door. So if I need to leave suddenly, it's because of DPD, and I apologise.
And you could also ask some questions at the same time. By the way, mate, while you're here, what do you think of this? So you can get in touch with the show via the usual channels. I'm going to just search for a Daft question and you'll find us across social.
Wow, okay. So that's my 5 minutes gone.
And you can also email us at daftquestion@gmail.com. Series 2, Mike, let's get off to a strong start. Let's get to the first question. I'm just looking at myself, by the way, on the video, and I look really red. I look really red.
You look like Wolverhampton has had a good week or two of sunshine, and you forgot the sun cream.
I've been on the sunbeds far too much in the last few weeks.
Have you got snow down there?
Oh, yes, very much so. We loved it. Girls loved it yesterday.
Well, see, because I weren't too sure because you didn't put it on Facebook or Instagram, and everyone knows that if you don't put it on social media, you don't get snow. So I was just curious to see if you actually got any snow.
I can confirm that Wolverhampton or South Staffordshire, as I'm knowing.
That's so much pressure.
That we do had snow. It was really good. Got the sledges out. I say got the sledges out. I had to borrow them from my sister. Again, not one thing you think of initially that you need sledges. And we, did a walk around through snowballs. Good. Classic snow antics. I would think, again, we're going to get into the question in a second, but because of current circumstances, as a kid, would you not be slightly annoyed that this is technically a snow day? But you're already at home anyway? It's not that freedom of school.
Didn't think of that. Absolutely. Because any other time, you just have the day off. And you'd go to the park and do whatever, and then maybe McDonald's. But because of the times that we're in, it's no teachers are going to be like, I can't come to the webcam today. I'm snowed in my bedroom. Sorry, guys.
Just as a kid, you would put the radio on first thing in the morning and you'd be there going, please say my school, please say my school, please say my school. Even to the point, I remember once when school was open, we were driving in the car to drive to school and we were still listening to the radio and you're like, please, just turn around. So what a moment that is when you hear your school on the radio that's closed. Yeah,
we used to, very quickly, we went on to the questions, we used to get, me and my brother, used to get a lift from one of our school teachers because he lived nearby. Great guy, Mr. Turpin. Love him to bits. He's an absolutely amazing teacher. And it was really, really heavy with snow. And we drive up this steep hill and he's struggling. And he's like, I don't know if we can make it. I don't know if we can get there. Get there. Turn the radio on. We literally, any other time, we'd be 2-minute drive away. But he couldn't get up this hill. So we turned the radio on. He was like, so as we've announced, such school, and Hollins High School is closed. We were like, what was the point? Mr. Turpin. Why don't you just put this on it first place? You're the teacher.
This is back in the day, though, where they probably wouldn't get any kind of text messages or whatever to say. By the way, it's closed.
But it was BBC Lancashire, and you'd think the BBC would have had a good system.
That BBC, eh? Anyway.
Question 1, David.
Okay, end of the questions. Right, Michael, the 90s classic action film, Demolition Man.
We're starting with this one. Oh, great.
We're going to start with this one. So if people have never seen this film before, and I don't know why, it came out in 1996. It was set in the 90s, and it was basically Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. And it was about this kind of cop and kind of a criminal at it. They were kind of arch rivals. And not to go into too many details, but basically they get frozen for different reasons. Both of them get frozen, and then in 2032, which is only 11 years away, they get unfrozen again for different circumstances in the future, and they go to war again. Now, one of the cult things that came out of this film, which is something that was never answered by the time the film ended, and is still debated by many people today, is Sylvester Stallone finds out when he goes to the toilet, there's no toilet paper. There's actually just 3 shells instead.
Shock.
I feel like you're going to... Yeah. And he can't figure out why there is no toilet paper and there's only these 3 shells. And as I mentioned, it's never answered in the film or afterwards about how they are used. It's the other characters in the film take the mick out of Sylvester Stallone not knowing what the 3 shells do. So I thought we'd start off with Series 2, Mike, with this classic question. Michael, how do you think somebody uses the 3 shells?
Oh, it's horrible to think of what at no point have I ever thought this actually might be a good system, Get rid of that toilet paper and use these 3 seashells to scrape the inside of my arsehole.
Oh.
And that's all I can think of.
Yeah, if you look at the film, when they show you the shells, they're very smooth shells. They're not like...
I didn't think...
You imagine if they're really rigid shells.
I didn't think they showed it in the film. I just thought it was a still that was produced afterwards. I might be wrong.
I looked at a YouTube clip just to memorise myself before we came on air, and there is a clip where they do show you the 3 shells in the bathroom, and they're silvery, quite smooth shells.
Is it in like a little shelf 3? Obviously, but set apart neatly. Yeah, that's a still I've seen.
So, so Mike, what do you think?
And this is the question I've done research on, by the way, so we'll get to that. Okay. The only way I would think, and the research I've done I don't agree with, is you'd scrape with the indented bit, the cup bit, you scrape with that, and then wipe with the shiny bit to make it a little bit smoother.
Okay, yeah. Kind of.
But why? I don't understand why you'd get to a point. Who would get to a point of thinking, no, toilet roll's just not cutting it. We need 3 hard-ass, shiny shells in order for us to be able to take a shit.
All I could think of is maybe because of the amount of paper it produces. I know a lot of toilet paper now is recycled anyway, isn't it, from existing toilet paper? I'm sure it is.
Oh, right. I didn't know that. So
I could have made that up, by the way, but I'm sure I've heard that somewhere, that some toilet paper is recycled from existing toilet paper that's already been used, but I don't know how that would work. So all I thought of was you would just use them to wipe yourself and then you'd almost wash it off and then go again.
So do you think they'd have to have a bidet?
Yeah, I think there'd have to be something like that in order to be an accommodating washer of the shells.
And then what? So go through your process. So you're there, it's a bidet and you've got 3 seashells beside you. You've done your business.
Yeah.
What do you do first?
I would use the first shell to wipe and then wash.
Good.
And then maybe the other shells are just spare. I don't know. So surely in that scenario, actually, you only need to use 1 shell.
I mean, it depends. It depends on the size of your little toilet break.
I've seen... that's the only way I could think of you use the 3 shells. Maybe, again, they've thought of in the future that producing this toilet paper was just a waste in itself and that you just maybe the sewage systems were getting clogged up and they just thought if you just use shells and wash away the excrement after you've used it, then actually that's a more... It wastes little.
Where do you put the seashells?
You'd have to have a tray, wouldn't you, in the bathroom?
Right. So
Where they were
so this is
placed?
another thing. So
Would they have to be? Would they have to be in disinfecting water constantly as well?
So would you do that? Would there be someone? I mean, imagine if you're at your home, then you'd have to do it yourself. But if you're working, if you're in a public area, do you have somebody else that re-washes them and then provides 3 new ones?
That's true, actually, because you're using other people's shells, aren't you? Or other shells that other people have used.
It's such a, if you think it's like it's so complex, more than just how do you use the 3 shells? What do you do with them after? Like, if it's got one of them's got shit on, what do you do with it? Where do you put it? Well, that's just quickly reminding me, right? Because something that happened to us over Christmas. We were talking to our neighbours outside, and one of the cats was just sat on the fence in between us. We noticed a bit of plastic out of his bum, right? While we're chatting to the neighbours, and I think one of them noticed it. So Lucy was like, "Oh, just get it out, Mike." So I did, and I kid you not, it was like one of them handkerchiefs from a magician, right? It was just coming out of his arsehole. But then the bit I pulled was clear, it was fine. But then the rest of it was full of shit, right? Jeez. So I'd done it, and then this is what's reminding me of it. Afterwards, I was like, what do I do with it? What? So I'm literally walking around wafting this piece of plastic strip, and I went to the end of the drive, thought, no, I can't do that. The neighbours are watching me. I can't just tuck it on the pavement. So I had to come back inside, get a mini plastic bag, put it in there, and put it in the bin. It was a lovely experience to share with our neighbours, and I feel that we're closer as a result.
Oh, okay.
So the seashells. Anyway, so yeah, but what do you do once you've wiped and there's obviously excrement on the seashell? What do you do with it? There's
got to be a disinfectant pool, maybe.
Surely.
For public use, if it's like in a public area.
You can't just wash that under tap, can you?
No.
Not in these times, not COVID.
No. There's got to be a disinfecting area. I saw a image that someone had mocked up together when doing my own research of this, if somebody suggested that you use 2 of the shells to capture the...
This is my research. Sylvester Stallone said this.
Right, okay.
In a 2006 interview, he said, you hold 2 seashells like chopsticks and pull gently and scrape what's left with a third. Now, my first question is, who still has anything hanging out where you need 2 seashells? Like, I'll be honest, most of mine, if not all of it, has come out.
Yeah.
There's nothing hanging by the time I'm wiping 9.5 times out of 10. So what goes on in 2030, what was it, 4?
32. Yeah, 32.
What's going on with our diets where it's hanging out and you need chopstick-like seashells to pull it out your ass?
That's a skill set in itself.
Yes!
Isn't it, really?
You'd have to go on some sort of online course for that.
Yeah.
Like, forget potty training is a whole new thing.
That's what they do at school. Yeah, that's what they do at school in like year, I'm going to say 1 or 2. Right, kids? We're going to learn how to use the 3 shells today. Use it properly. In the research I did, I also saw that Sandra Bullock had her opinions on this back in 2013. And her opinions were, it was quite obvious that 1 was for weeing, 1 was for your poo, and the third one was for wiping. So I don't understand how the wee one works.
What's is there an actual toilet? Like, what is if you've got a toilet with water, why would you then get a seashell? Or, in fact, to be fair, women do need to wipe.
Yes.
So, but that's even worse. You don't want to. I imagine. Don't take my word for it, but I imagine you don't want a seashell wiping your front bum. Am I wrong?
Oh.
Tell me. Someone tell me if I'm wrong.
And this is where we need the female opinion on this. I've been thinking about this all weekend about how this works. I think everybody obviously has their own opinion of this, and the beauty of this podcast is why we ask these questions. But yeah, I can't imagine it, and I think it's very clever that probably the filmmakers have done it to make it so ambiguous.
Yeah.
That everybody, they've left it in the air like that everybody can have this debate for years to come. Probably nobody cares about Demolition Man. They just care about this one bit. Demolition Man itself is a really good film.
It is. I haven't seen it for a long time, but it is a good film.
It's just this one bit that has survived time and keeps asking questions.
Maybe we should ask our friends at cage fighting.
We should do. I thought you were going to say maybe we should ask people to buy 3 shells and try themselves and see what they come up with.
No, I'm not that mean.
Our friends at Cage Fighting Podcast, a good film podcast for you to listen to, they're probably the best people to direct this question to.
I'm going to tweet him now. David.
So for their next podcast, we'd love to hear what their version of this question is. And of course, while Michael's tweeting, if you've got we'd like to know what your stories, what would your method be for the 3 seashells? Social at a daft question. Email us at daftquestion@gmail.com. We'll read them out next week. We've got another question coming up in a second.
We do.
And Michael's just going to finish off this tweet. I can see him busy on his phone, tweeting away.
So I've simply put, Demolition Man, 3 seashells. How would you use them? Sent.
I think that's good and precise. I like it.
Thank you.
Anyway, 3 seashells. That kicks off Series 2. Right, it's time for Listener Questions. This is your chance to send us questions and we will try and answer them as best as we can. Again, across the socials at a daft question to send them in, or at a daft question@gmail.com. Michael, you have the listener questions. What have people sent to us recently?
Well, do I get to do this bit, David, or do you want to take over?
Because apparently, do this bit.
Oh, right, that's nice.
I will bestow this honour to you.
Now, we got a question over Christmas from @RichardHobbs6 on Twitter. And it wasn't a Christmas question, unfortunately, so we didn't feature it. But we're going to answer it today. And I think I like this question.
I think, didn't we hint at this?
Yeah, we did.
Didn't we hint this at the last one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So his question is, got a new spice rack and we alphabetise them. Should mild curry and chili powder be under M for mild or C for curry powder? And then another question also, how do you organise DVDs, alphabet or categories?
Ooh, okay.
So let's do the spice rack first.
Okay, I would say that you would actually have to put curry under C for me. I know it's a mild curry, but I think curry's the core component of that.
See, I just said M.
Ooh,
because
okay.
Initially I'm thinking mild curry, and it would be the first thing, like the first letter, so it'd be coming under M. Lucy would say C. I asked Lucy, and she'd say no, all under C.
I would put into C as well, because I think then you could cut. Then it depends if there's other versions that have got curry in the name.
What's he?
I would then put that.
What's he done? He didn't say. I'm trying to zoom in on the picture that he sent through. I think he's put mild curry under M.
Oh, I like to hope that he waited until this episode before he decided. So he's got like 2 spices out the way.
Yeah, I'm sure it's mild curry. Yeah,
and his better half is like, are you going to put them in the racket? No, I need to see what I say first. I need to know how to categorise them. Okay, so yeah, so then he's also about DVDs.
DVDs,
as well.
Yeah. Do you put them in alphabetical order or in category order?
If I think I've hidden a lot of my DVDs now, just because I don't watch so many.
I've got Netflix, so I don't have DVDs. I mean, the only DVDs I've got are in a box somewhere in this house.
Yes, back in the day, I think I did it by category. I would have said if I organised them like that. Sometimes I would just throw them in a pile.
I think I did it alphabetically. I don't think I had. No, I think it was alphabetically.
Or I would have done it where I would have the newest or the ones I like the best at the left-hand side, and it would go down to kind of how I liked rating them down the way to older to the end, as it were, if you go left to right. That's how I probably would have...
My DVDs were in my room in a drawer, and then any new ones would just hang out downstairs next to the DVD player with the TV for like a couple of months.
Yeah, and then with random CDs just everywhere. And
then I'd eventually add them to my DVD drawer.
And if you ever give any way to Music Magpie, you're opening up things, where the hell's that gone? In that case.
The amount of times that it's like, where is my Fast and Furious 3 gone?
Okay, so Rich, hopefully we've answered that question for you. Carry on.
Yeah. See, I've got 4 in total. I just don't know which ones. No, right. It's all right. Right. So, on the Twitter again, @MrsFoz_IAM. She's asked, is a clear of the throat the universal sign to tell someone you're in the bathroom when there's no lock on the door?
Oh, okay. I usually say I'm in the bathroom.
Yes. Yeah,
It depends.
someone's in here.
Yeah, even if you're in public, if you can tell someone's gonna, you say, "Oh, sorry, someone's in here."
Yeah. You don't just sit there and go,
Yeah, I usually thought a clear of the throat is more of a sign to say, like, stop that conversation, or
yeah.
you know, you're talking about something about me,
Yeah.
or you're talking about something you shouldn't be talking about. That's how I always thought clear the throat.
I will get a kick under the table or a slight cough from Lucy to say, no, you don't, no, stop talking, don't go on with this. I've never, I don't think I've ever associated a clear of the throat while being in a public toilet.
It's always you say, don't you?
Yeah.
And surely, if someone coughs and if you're in the public area and there's a row of cubicles, how do you know that cough's come from that toilet? That could just be someone coughing in general.
You just put your hand against the door and say, taken, or someone's in here, or whatever. You don't, I mean, it might, again, in the ladies' lavatories, in the public space, because they're obviously a bit more mature compared to us gentlemen, are they simply just sitting there going, and then they all know, oh no, what's in there? Oh. That's the universal sign. Don't go in there.
Whereas us are like, hey, someone's in here.
I'm having a shit here.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry. Sorry. No. It's not that. It's not clear of the throat, you say.
Yeah.
But please let us know. Otherwise, what do other people do?
Yes, reply to us. And let us know what you do in the toilets. Yes. Any females, but particularly at Mrs. Foz_I am.
Okay. Next questions. Other listener questions.
Our friend Lee Hasdell.
Good old Lee. We're gonna get Lee on the show this series, by the way.
Beautiful.
I spoke to you the other day.
Sweet.
We are going to get him on the series this year. Also, I meant to say at the start of the series and start the episodes because it works. Do you remember in the last series we did the Bernard's Watch episode?
How can I forget?
Yeah, we got David Peachy, who played Bernard in Bernard's Watch, to agree to come on the series. And he said he'd do it in the new year.
He did.
So we got to the new year, so I contacted him. And he was really nice. He just said, look, I'm a GP now, as we talked about on the show. And obviously I'm doing the vaccine at the moment, so it's quite busy, so can I do it another time?
Okay.
And I did think, you know what? Doing a vaccine in a pandemic is slightly more important than coming on this podcast. So I'll let him off for that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair. Yeah. But does that mean he's listened then? Did he say?
I don't think he's listening. I think what I was trying to say, obviously, we mentioned in the show he was a GP, but he said he's still up for coming on, so we are going to get him on this series. But maybe, in my mind, let's get this pandemic out of the way first to let people, hardworking NHS people like David, who are saving our lives every day, to get this vaccine out, and then maybe it's the right time for him to come on.
It's the last thing you want to do when you've been doing the vaccine for 12 hours or whatever. It's probably close to 12 hours. You come home and you've got to talk to one lad from Wolverhampton, one lad from North about some random questions and something that he don't really want to be associated again with, I don't think, by the sound of it.
So we're going to get David Peachy on at some point in the future. So thank you, David, for that. Anyway,
all our efforts anyway on the rock. That's what we've got to focus on.
Yes.
Get the rock on this podcast, even if it's just a little question as a voice note.
One day that'll be the ultimate.
I'd die a happy man.
When I did my previous less successful podcast, Wolves Fancast, my dream was to try and get Mark Hamill on, aka Luke Skywalker, so I could close that loop in terms of making him a Wolves fan on Twitter.
If no one's aware, David is the reason why Mark Hamill is a Wolves fan and tweeted him. David, you, not the show. It's you, David.
I'm going to say inverted commas, a Wolves fan.
And it was all over the news, and it was you, David.
I was getting media requests to do interviews on a Sunday night, and I remember sitting there going...
Were you actually?
Yeah, I was actually getting emails for proper media requests on the Sunday night, and I remember thinking, this is not news. Mark Hamill tweeting someone by accident, by his account, saying that he's now a Wolves fan is not news. And I remember on the Sunday after, I think we played Millwall at home, I think, when it all came out, it was like on everywhere. People in our WhatsApp group were sending like everybody messages going, it's on BBC News. It was like the most read story on BBC News at one point, and I was like, this isn't news. And what I found funny, sorry, going off topic, is Mark Hamill tweeted that he gained like 50,000 followers.
Really?
From that scenario. Fancast gained like about 50. And I thought, well, great for you, Mark. You've gained all these followers. What has Fancast gone from it? nothing.
So no,
And
no,
what, you know
really
what
additional
annoyed,
Star Wars fans.
and as much as Mark Hamill was a great sport at it, he backtracked massively on Twitter afterwards to the point where he said he tweeted something like, "You know what? If I wanted to support a football team, it would be more likely to be Liverpool."
Did he?
He did
Oh, I missed that.
because of his, I think because of his love of the Beatles and some kind of affiliation with Liverpool he's got.
And we're
But
better.
I remember sitting there going, "Don't say that. Just keep this going, keep this going." But yeah, anyway. But if you go online and type in Mark Hamill Wolves, you'll find many a story about it. Anyway, carrying on.
So back to the questions. Oh, I think DPD's here. Hang
Oh,
on.
DPD.
Give me a sec.
What Diamond Dallas Page is
None
here?
of this. I'm going to sneak in Burnley lost to Liverpool or United beat Liverpool. None of that because I'll watch it.
We won't do that. We won't do that. Mike's watching me, by the way, for the audio listeners. Mike is watching me.
Right.
Do not worry, I have not done anything like that whatsoever.
What did you say?
I've done nothing like that. I've done nothing like that whatsoever. You are free this time. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. I know you don't believe me, but it's not happening. Anyway, back to listener questions.
Yeah. So at Lee Hasdell has asked, what sauce do you choose when you go to McDonald's?
See, it's barbecue for me every time,
right?
Surely. I don't choose anything else. I know there's other ones, but it's BBQ every time. What about you?
I don't have sauce. I don't get any sauce from Mackey's. Even if I get chicken nuggets, I don't get any sauce. I'm not a sauce guy. I'm not.
That is bizarre. You learn something every day in our friendship. No sauce.
If we go to McDonald's, and this is what I'm going to just show you in a second, I have to get Lucy will have barbecue sauce, and I have to ask for barbecue sauce so she can get it. Right?
Okay.
Now, not always does she go through all the barbecue sauces. Fine, understandably. Most people would throw them away. Let me just count how many sachets of barbecue sauce I've got in the fridge. Just give me a second.
Okay. So Michael's going to... Oh, here we go. He's opening the fridge here. He's getting out this...
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
16 sachets. Michael's going to repeat now.
16.
Yeah.
And that's only because there's been a recent cull of me throwing some away going, we don't need this many. This went out of date in January last year. Why have we got all this? We've got 16.
This is becoming an addiction, Lucy. Stop it.
But I mean, it's not like you'd think with that kind of ratio, we'd have McDonald's like every week or whatever. Yeah. We don't. That isn't the thing. It just, we've got this spare, we'll stick it in the fridge.
Something I learned a few years ago, in some McDonald's when you were allowed to go inside, where they have almost like those pumping stations with the little paper cups.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that those paper cups, you can actually fold them out and make them
I've seen
5 times bigger.
I've seen stuff like this.
I've never tried it. I just was so amazed by it, and I thought, okay, that's great. But yeah, barbecue every time. Barbecue every time. Yeah. I can't believe you don't have sauce.
Have you tried the new katsu chicken nuggets?
I haven't, but I really do.
They're very nice. But Lucy will get sweet and sour for them, so she'll switch it up for that. But I would recommend the katsu, actually, because the spicy ones were naff. But these are all right, because there's a crunch to them.
I like the spicy ones.
Why? They're not. There's no spice. It just tastes like
it's a tiny bit.
Herb and lemon from Nando's.
I do want to try the katsu ones. I want to try them before they stop making.
They're nice. There's a nice crisp to the batter of the chicken.
Again, it's annoying because where we used to live, you could get Uber Eats quite easily.
Right.
Where we live now, can't get Uber Eats Mackies.
Right.
It's so annoying, but also probably a good thing in the long term. Yeah, we can't get it. Okay, so thank you, Lee, for that question. Again, we're going to try and get Lee on in the series as well because he's a big inspiration for the format of the show.
The reason.
Yeah. Yes. Any other listener questions?
Yeah, but let's. I've done 3. Let's just leave it until we have a poor week.
Right, it's time for surprise question. It's that part of the show that either Michael or I will ask each other a question by complete surprise. We've had no prep work for it whatsoever. It's completely off the cuff. For this week, because we couldn't figure out who did surprise question last time, I've given the honour to Michael. So, Michael, it's your surprise question.
Simple one for you today, David.
Okay.
You're aware of the fruit orange?
I am aware of that fruit called orange, yeah.
Now, Is it called orange because of the colour, or is the colour orange called orange because of the fruit?
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
And now I don't have an official answer for this. I don't. I've got an opinion, but I don't have an official answer.
I would say, surely it's called an orange because it's the colour orange. I would say, just because, obviously I don't know the history of when colours were invented, but my presumption is the colour orange was decided first, but then, that's when they discovered that fruit, that's what they called it. Oh no, it could be the other way around though. They could have just found an orange, called it an orange, and then they said that colour would be orange forever. That's too hard. I don't know. It's like chicken or the egg. What came first? I don't know. I can't answer that one.
I think it's they named the colour orange after the fruit because, and my theory is, you've got your colour sky blue, for example.
Yeah.
But no one called the sky blue because of a paint colour. The paint colour was decided as sky blue because of the sky. So you tend to name paints after things.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you'd have like, I'll paint this lavender. But you didn't, the flower wasn't called lavender because of the colour. The colour, I imagine, the colour came about because of the flower.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
So I think it's orange was first, and then you named the paint colour after that.
Well, you've answered the question for me, Mike. So thank you. you did all the work for me. So I'm pleased. Thank you very much for that. No, that was a good one.
Thank you.
That was a good. Sometimes the simplest of questions are the best. None of these convolute.
No.
How many waffles does it take? Sometimes the simplest is the best. Right, it's going to be the last question of the episode. Michael, birthdays. What a great day they are.
Yep.
You look forward to the other day of the year that you look forward to apart from Christmas as a kid.
Mine's nearly in a month. Oh. Sorry? Carry on.
Need to clear your throat there.
Yeah.
So yeah, birthdays, it's a great day of the year, especially as a kid. You look forward to presents, parties and whatnot. But my question to you, Michael, is what is the worst date of the year to have your birthday on?
I've got 3.
Okay, give us your 3.
And then I've got one that isn't a date, but is associated with something, if that makes sense. But we can clear
Okay, yeah.
Similar to my third date. So the first date is Christmas Day.
That's an obvious one, yeah.
And even if it wasn't my birthday, but it was someone else's birthday, I'd be annoyed at that because Christmas Day is about, it's everybody. Everyone gets together. Yeah. I don't want it to be about you and get your presents and whatever. It's us. It's your family. Yeah. It's your friends. It was Ivy's first Christmas, etc., etc. I don't want it to be about you.
And even if it is your birthday on Christmas Day, your day's lost in a sense because it's Christmas. Yeah. Because Christmas is such a massive day.
So if you have it on Christmas Day, if your birthday is Christmas Day, everybody else, you, me, whoever, it's your day. That's your day to do something. Christmas Day, you don't get it, which is a shame, and I wouldn't let you have it.
And then do you get double presents?
Yes.
Or do people go, well, it's Christmas as well, we can't really give you more presents.
Yeah. So
and then when you get older, do people be like, well, I've just got you a joint present? Yeah, not a joint present.
I mean, my brother, because my brother's on the 20th of December, he has in the past, like to my mum or whoever, said, taking the value of both birthday and Christmas, can I have a joint present and have something bigger? And he's done that in the past. Fine, I get that. That's and if you did that on Christmas Day, so if you were getting 50 quid on Christmas Day and 50 quid for your birthday, but you asked for £100 present, I think that's fine. That's fair dues. But to only get a £50 present, let's just say in this example, and it's for both your birthday and Christmas, that's gutting.
I think Christmas Day is a gutting one. I fully agree with that one. Other days, what's your second date?
February 29th.
Yes, I've got this down as well.
Like when do you have it? Do you have it on the 28th? Do you have it on the 1st of March? Do you then wait every 4 years and officially you're only 4 years old, 20 years later or whatever the maths is, 5 years? It's just, it's shit in it. That's what do you put?
Because presumably on your birth certificate you put the 29th.
Yes.
But does that not get like when you're applying for things in January, you have to put your date of birth in. I've never looked, but is there an option for the 29th of February? And then if you have to sign to something where it's an age, you've got to be of a certain age.
Yeah.
If you could put in the 29th of February in, it's going to say, well, you're only 5 or 6.
I would think because you get a lot of them that comes up like a calendar. So you've got like Sunday to Saturday, and you've got the days underneath, and then depending on what month and year, that alters. I imagine if you change it to a leap year, that would add the extra 29. But another thing I've just thought of is some good managers, like I used to, if it was your team, if one of them had a birthday, you'd put it in your diary. You'd automatically write. But if you're the 29th, it's never going to come up. You'd have to wait 4 years for your manager to acknowledge you.
And it must be weird. Like, obviously, as a parent, you presumably decide for your child which day you're actually going to celebrate it on, as in the 28th or the 1st. When you get older, do you then decide yourself, or you just say, right, no, that's always been my birthday?
Depends whenever the weekend is.
And then and it must be weird if you're in that position that your actual date of birth comes along every 4 years.
Yeah.
Once every 4 years.
Like, whoa, it's actually my birthday. Woo.
Yeah. And I'm actually technically only 8, but I'm 32. Like, it must be a weird thing in your mind to have. But yeah, I think that must be an annoying one to have.
Would you, if you were 29th, would you have your birthday on the 28th or the 1st?
I think I'd have it on the 28th.
Yeah, you want it sooner, don't you?
Keep it in February. Because it's February. I'd keep it in February.
Right.
What would you do? Would you have it on the 28th?
I'd do 28th, but purely because I'd want it sooner. I don't want to wait an extra day for my birthday. If I can get all the presents and the cake and the alcohol a day forward, then yeah, I'd do that.
Okay. Yeah, 29th, I'm all for that as a horrible day. What's your third one?
So my third day, when I think about it, probably not so much now, but I imagine in the early years, it was probably a bit awkward. September 11th.
Yeah, I've got that down as well. September the 11th. Just because, like you say, early days, because it happened, people are like, oh, September. But now, maybe also in America, in America, it's probably a bit more of an issue.
Yeah.
It probably isn't so much of an issue.
But I wouldn't think twice if someone said their birthday is September 11th.
No.
I'd be like, oh, but that's it. And then not a date as such, but I imagine an anniversary that anyone's died. I imagine that's going to suck.
I would think so.
Like, and if someone dies on your birthday, that's
for the first, especially if it's somebody very close for the first few years, that would be the reminder. And you're like, oh crap. But yeah, so all I could those are the only dates I could really think of. Again, stuff like New Year's Day or Easter Day don't really matter, I don't think.
I thought about New Year's, but then if you think about it, like, besides current times, everyone's going to be out on the piss. Everyone's going to be out New Year's Eve. Like, everyone's going to be out past midnight. So if your birthday is New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, everyone's out. You're going to have a really good time. Wherever you go, everyone's going to be up for it. So that would probably be quite decent. And then you have, New Year's Eve would probably be a bit more special. It would only be New Year's Day when everyone's hungover, what to do during the day to celebrate it. Like, if you've got your family and stuff, is everyone going to be in the mood for it? But generally, as a piss up, I think it's a great birthday to have.
I did do some research to find out if there was actually a known worst date of the year. And I did find a piece on The Guardian that said research says, although I couldn't actually find the link to what the research was or where it was from, that the 16th of December is apparently the worst day of the year to have your birthday. I think they were talking about it because it's so close to Christmas. And there's examples of people having presents that are just wrapped up in Christmas wrapping paper because people are like, I can't be asked to get you that.
I've done that for me, brother.
Okay.
I have wrapped something in Christmas paper, but in my defense, with a black marker, I did write happy birthday over every bit that says Merry Christmas.
Okay.
It was just easier.
It was a very brief piece. I couldn't see any other reasons why the 16th in particular, but I think it was just that it was so close to Christmas. Maybe it's probably a week before Christmas. Yeah,
it's 9 days?
Yeah. I think
well, if the research says it, David, then we'll have to believe it.
We have to believe what it says, yeah. So those are the worst days, I think, or worst dates to have your
Let us know. Someone let us know if your birthday's on such
Yeah.
a date and it's for whatever reason.
and how you get round that. What do you do? Do you do anything differently
Yes.
for that? And if there's a best date, I think we've talked about just there. New Year's Day and New Year's Eve probably is a really good day to have your birthday on, because everyone's a bit like. Actually, what's probably good about that is everybody's trying to getting a bit depressed because they've just got over. It's been Christmas, but you've got a week later another event coming up for you. So it's probably quite good.
Yeah, because my birthday's at the end of February. I quite like the fact that Christmas has been and gone, but it's not that far until something else is decent's happening. So you've only got to wait another couple of months, like the January blues and all that. You've only got to wait till the end of February, and then it's your birthday, and I'll get my presents and we go out. Well, not this year, but you know what I mean. But I also imagine, like, if your birthday's in June, July, that's quite decent as well, because it's halfway through the year you've got your birthday, the other half of the year you've got Christmas, and it's a nice little rotation.
Yeah. So people let us know. I'm intrigued to know how people have their birthdays if they're around those times, and what other days of the year are probably really good dates to have them on. I'd like to know. And that's it, Mike. Another episode done. Series 2 kicking off to a start. I love it.
Great episode, David. Great episode.
So get in touch as usual if you want to have your questions read out or any other ideas for questions. And we'll be back next week in this run of Series 2 with more Daft questions and trying to answer them as best as we can. It's great. But for this week, it's bye from Mike.
And it's bye from David.
We'll see you next time.